The Blues Fan Forum podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to bring you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media.
This is Jordan Bennington, and you're listening to the Blues Fan Forum podcast.
On the ice, under St. Louis city lights, where the Blues play with all their might. Jordan Cairo, fast on the attack, but defense falters, gotta cut him some slack. In Robert's arms we find our glory, his skills shine, the team's best story. St. Louis Blues, we wear the crest. In Jordan Bennington we put our trust to the test. On the ice we fight and we must, for the city we love, in the blue no we'll thrust.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode 160 of the Blues Fan Forum podcast, your source for Blues news, views, and fan interviews, presented by Scooters Coffee. Blues fans can score amazing drinks like the signature Caramelicious, served hot, iced, or blended with world-class espresso, fruit smoothies, Scoot energy infusions, and so much more. That is amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast Scooters Coffee. And damn, that was impressive because normally I read the ad read, and right now my phone is tuned into the Buffalo-Boston game, so I did that from memory. So I'm pretty happy with that. We are guest list for today, so I posted today that our guest would be the comment section. So we'll see who's hanging out with us throughout the episode. We do still have Dakota here. So Dakota, how are you?
I'm good. It's another week where we're not talking Blues hockey, unfortunately, but hey, we're going to cover everything that's happened all around the NHL playoffs. We're going to get into some of our bandwagons we're riding, and then obviously talk about some of the teams that aren't in there anymore, some early exits. So I'm happy. We're here to talk some hockey, drink some beer or whiskey in that case, and have some good times.
For sure. We got bourbon, got Busch Light, got hockey on. Like I said, I got the Buffalo-Boston game. Dakota's got the Dallas and Minnesota game. So if you hear us just randomly scream, it's probably because either Buffalo scored or Dallas scored. As usual, we do have Sam hanging out with us. Sam, appreciate you being here as always. And then I did mention we are guestless. It's been a little bit harder to get Buffalo Sabres fans to join on the podcast. So I had no intention of recording today because I know there's a game going on. So the plan was to record yesterday, but just despite sending messages into the group that we're in, no comments, no takers. So maybe we were just
superstitious. Do you think they're superstitious and like, hey, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves? Let's remain silent throughout the first round and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. That could be. I was just thinking maybe we were just overly blessed with the Florida Panthers 2 years ago and getting all the people that came on there. I mean, just even three of those guys that came on, I met down in Florida, like went out to a bar and hung out with them in person. So like they were like cool as shit. But yeah, it's been a little bit harder to get people from the Sabres bandwagon here. Maybe as we grow, maybe once as we get through this first round, they'll kind of be like maybe off the superstition bug and be ready to talk. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I guess there is a possibility. Sam says that she could join. But they got words are hard. Springfield Thunderbirds ended up winning their, I guess it was like a play-in series. Or maybe their short first round. So now they actually play the Boston Bruins affiliate there in the AHL. They got a 5-game series that I took a screenshot, but it's on my phone, and I can't use my phone tonight. I believe it starts on Friday. I think they play Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, something like that. But just a best-of-5 series for that first round. Friday night. Sam's got me. I do. Sam would have me there. Yeah, Friday night. The Springfield's playing. I think you guys can catch that on Flow TV, which is, I believe, free on the internet. FlowTV.com. So check out the Thunderbirds. We'll have to watch that on Friday night. All right. Let's talk some playoff hockey. So we got 2 rounds of the playoffs actually done already. 2 sweeps. Not a big surprise on the sweeps because it's the best team in each division sweeping the wild card 2. Let's just start in the West because that's going to be the one that makes the most sense. Colorado sweeps the LA Kings. In 4 games, LA is able to score 5 goals. In those same 4 games, let's see, Colorado gets through 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they don't even go really crazy in the 4 games. But just kind of cakewalk. 1 game goes into overtime. But besides that, pretty easy for Colorado. Dakota, were you surprised by this at all?
No, not surprised by the sweep. I guess I was more, curious how LA was going to play this round or just this playoffs in general. Anze Kopitar, his last ride essentially. But I just kind of expected LA to just kind of come out with a little bit more, fire under their ass. As far as Colorado just beating the shit out of them, I mean, we expected that, right? They pretty much made their money beating the shit out of everybody in the West. That's why they ended up having the most points. But yeah, just a little curious why LA didn't come out with a little more fire. Anze played his ass off throughout his entire career, and I think he just needed a little. You need something. It's kind of a sour taste, I guess. Gets swept by any team, by any league, by any whatever. You'd like to see them at least get 1 victory, even a home victory. That'd be cool. Like send the fans home happy seeing Anze Kopitar as a victor in the playoffs. But damn, sucks to see it happen. But hey, we kind of expected that coming out of Colorado.
Yeah, let's see what Kopitar ended up with. 0 goals and 0 assists in 4 games for Kopitar. They also trade for Panarin this season, and Panarin ends up with 2 goals and 1 assist for 3 points in those games. So I know it hurts. I believe they had, I can't think of who it was, but they had somebody who got injured in the Olympics this year who was a big player for them. So I know that hurts them a little bit. But yeah, like you said, I don't think anyone had them standing a chance against Colorado. It does beg the question that people have brought up. Would the Blues have put up a better fight against Colorado, or would the Blues also have been swept? What do you think?
I think the Blues would have played better. I think they played better down the stretch, which leads me to believe they would have played better hockey. I think that they would have put I think we've gone at least 6 games. Sorry, I'm having really bad internet issues. My internet just likes to go off and on every once in a while. So if I disappear,
might be because your wife is in a love triangle right now with you and Jake Ottinger. So that could be what's doing it.
It's okay. Jake the Snake's jersey's right behind me. She knows where all the love's happening. But yeah, I think see, at least we both in this house can like agree on like at least Jake Ottinger is the greatest goaltender. But no, I think if the Blues would have put 6 games on Colorado, I think they would have made it a series. Not saying we would have won because a lot of the cards were stacked against us, but I think the Blues, the way they play a very tough style of hockey. They hit, they check, they forecheck, they block shots. I think they play a good playoff style hockey that LA just wasn't going to be playing against Colorado. They were more of a let's try to see if we can get them on an odd man break. Let's play some neutral zone hockey. But yeah, I think that they would have at least put 6 games in the series. I don't think they would have been swept. I mean, look how they played against Winnipeg, right? That was the President's Trophy winners.
Yeah,
and we put them to 7 games. And hell, some may say we should have won that series.
Seconds.
So, yeah. And so yeah, I think the Blues would have definitely given them a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, we were chit-chatting before we went live about how LA had 20 games in overtime that they lost. They ended up only winning 35 games, where the St. Louis Blues won 37. So does LA getting shit canned by Colorado maybe make the NHL be like, maybe that team shouldn't make the playoffs, and maybe somebody like St. Louis, who would have been next, or maybe even Nashville or San Jose. Like, could they have put up a better fight against the Colorado? Or is Colorado just too good? It's just like, yeah, that's going to happen to everybody. So who cares?
Well, it goes to show you that now how everything's structured, points matter. Like they got into the playoffs based off of, how everything's structured. Points matter. If you face overtime and you don't win, at least you got to a situation where you at least got a point, right? And that's, everybody talks about that for a full 82 games. Points matter. It doesn't matter how you start. It doesn't matter how you finish. It's all about what happens in the middle of the year, and are you getting points when you need them? And St. Louis just wasn't. There are too many times where Brendan and I were watching the hockey game, and Brendan's like, no secret here, Blues are losing again. It's like, yeah, it fucking sucks. So yeah, they played the game and they got in the playoffs. Only 16 teams make it, so congrats on them. But kind of a wild way to at least end your career if you're Anze Kopitar. You're just, they gave him a good salute. They gave him the hometown salute, which is great, but you wish to see him kind of leave on better terms.
Well, Greg did say that if he had to guess, the Blues would have lost in 5 or 6, so winning a game or two, that's respectable. And then made the joke here that the Kings and Senators won as many playoff games this year as the St. Louis Blues. So, which brings us to our next game, or our next series, which would be Carolina and Ottawa. Ottawa gets out again, the wild card 2 against the conference leader, so kind of expected. But Ottawa is again able to score 5 goals in 4 games, where Carolina puts up, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in 4 games. Buffalo just about scored, but also kind of took out Jeremy Swayman, but he looks okay. Thoughts on Carolina and Senators before we get into Brady Tkachuk?
What? Thoughts? Oh, sorry. All of a sudden you talked and then it just went dead silent. I didn't know if it was my computer lagging or me. I lagged for a second. Okay. So thoughts on Sens and Canes. No secret here. I think I'm so sorry. No secret here.
No, you were just looking down and then you look up and you go, what? Like you forgot you're on a podcast, but if it glitched, it was just hilarious.
So Canes came out as expected. They controlled most of the series, if not all of it. I think that the Sens came out heavy in game 2. I think they got their shit waxed on game 1 for sure, but game 2 they came out a little better. The start of the series, like I think we mentioned before, you love to see Brady Tkachuk just drop the gloves. I think that was a table setter. I just wish that Sens would have followed up with that. If you're going to start with that much tenacity to start the series, you got to keep it going. You can't just drop the ball. I feel bad for Ottawa Senators fans, man. Like you get so close every year, and sometimes you make it in, and then all of a sudden you just have nothing to show for it. It's like they got the Tkachuk ugly step sister. Brady hasn't had a chance to really get much done, and because I don't think they build too much around him, but they do have some pretty decent players on that team. But yeah, I think Carolina played a very structured game. They didn't get too far away from that breadwinner, and feeding Sebastian Aho, and no, I think they played a really good game all over the ice. I really thought that this was going to go 6 games. I thought Ottawa would kind of give them a little test, but I was dead wrong. But hey, we have 2 sweeps. It needed to happen sometime, but I didn't expect it to be motherfucker. I didn't expect it to be
Minnesota score.
Carolina. Yes, they did.
Matt
Zuccarello back in the lineup. That's his first goal.
Okay. So Ottawa getting shut out here in the Stanley Cup playoffs here, or getting swept, has reignited the Ottawa fan base. And is Brady Tkachuk going to get traded? They always talk about how much they love him and how much the owner says he's a big part of our future and he's our captain and all this. But then for some reason, every single year, Brady Kachuk's name gets thrown out in the rumor mill. And maybe it's just in St. Louis, but it seems to happen more than it probably should for somebody who is, quote, like not on the market. What's fueling the fire is the fact that through 4 games, Brady Kachuk had no goals and no assists and 13 penalty minutes, which 5 of them coming from fighting. So how much thought or truth do you put into these very loose rumors?
This happens every year, and I think we all have this this hole in our heart that we somehow show ownership towards any sort of Kachuk. Matthew, Brady, obviously Keith had his home here, but it's never going to happen. Like the stars would have to be so aligned for us to bring back a Kachuk. Like they're making their name, they're making their money somewhere else. We just, as a fan base and as an ownership, we can't afford them, and that's okay. We got Keith, we got to say we had Father Time, but Matthew and Brady are just going to be able to make their money and do their thing somewhere else, and that's okay. I don't think there's going to be any sort of substance to those rumors, and if there is, then I welcome it with open arms. But
you won't be upset.
Ain't no way. I won't be upset. But we got a pretty good thing cooking here in St. Louis, and I don't think with the way Doug Armstrong and Alexander Steen have talked the last couple of weeks in their pressers, I don't think that's ever going to be a thing that they think about. Is sure, it might be cool to have a Kachuk wearing the blue sweater again, but we got the rookies we need. We have the young talent that we're trying to develop. It doesn't make sense.
Greg says, bring Brady home, send Kyrou and a first rounder for him, which if that's the price for Brady, I would do that yesterday.
You're going to need more than that.
Right. Somebody posted earlier and said that it could be Kyrou, Jake Neighbors, a first round pick, and possibly Yurchek. And for me, that's too much. I don't like that price. For me, it's you can have Kyrou or Jake. I prefer you have Kyrou, but you can have Kyrou or Jake, and you can have the first rounder and maybe like a mid-level prospect, maybe Colin Ralph or I would say like Theo Lindstein's a no, Yurchek's a no. Anyone who played this year, I would give you Kaskamaki if you went a forward like that, or Jakob Stansel or any of those guys. But yeah, you're not going to get the equivalent of 3 first rounders for a guy who you're shopping. So we'll give you Kyrou or Kyrou or Jake. And then the first round, I'll give you the first round, the number 11 overall pick this year. That's doable. But yeah, I don't know if Ottawa wants that. So we'll see. Who knows? All right. Let's get into some of the games tonight then. So first game on the docket for tonight is the Buffalo Sabres versus the Boston Bruins. It is the first intermission right now in game 5. Buffalo is up 1-0 on their first power play goal in like 40 chances. I was actually trying to find the actual number, but it's their first one in a long time. Really surprised. I figured it would be on here, but it's not. The power play drought is over, but nobody said anything. But yeah,
Buffalo hasn't. What?
Go ahead. Whatever you were saying.
Said Buffalo hasn't scored a power play goal since Dominic Hasek was in fucking net.
It's been a while. So Rasmus Dahlin gets that goal. Buffalo is up 3-1 in the series. They are the quote unquote better team as far as they were the division leaders. They are playing the wild card 1 team, which is Boston. So like theoretically they should be the team that wins this. Do you see them closing it out tonight, or do you think Boston could come back and win this?
I see Buffalo closing it out tonight. Like I believe, this is game 5, so they're at home. I see them closing it out. I think it's going to be a shutout. I don't see Boston putting anything in the net, and I think that's a huge measuring stick to where they started in the series to where they're finishing now. They had to get one series under their belt, and I really do think that they can make a deep run. The East doesn't scare me that much. The only team that really scares me is Carolina. That after what they did to Ottawa, and Ottawa really wasn't too much of a match for them. But if you get past this series, I think you easily get yourself into the Eastern Conference Championship. But who knows? This is what playoffs are made of. You see teams come out and just end up turning themselves on their head and making it to the final. So it could be anybody's game. But I really like the way Buffalo looks. They just got to get that power play working. And I think I said it to our guest 2 weeks ago or a week ago. If Buffalo manages their power play and plays better and scores power play goals when they have the chances, they could be easily in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was their first goal of the Stanley Cup playoffs here in Game 5. So they definitely have some scoring to do. Mike did say that Ontario is rooting for the Sabres, which geographically that's pretty close. So that checks out. That makes sense. They also just before every game, Buffalo sings "O Canada" and the national anthem because I think it's just a playoff tradition, just them being so close to Canada. Even though they're not playing a Canadian team, they don't have to do it. And the singer, just right before this game, her microphone kept going in and out. So eventually the crowd started singing "O Canada," which ended up being kind of cool. And then the microphone conveniently worked for the Star Spangled Banner. So that worked out. Game 2 tonight is Dallas and Minnesota. Dallas is your team right now. Dakota, is it still 1-0?
It is still 1-0. Yeah, Dallas is about to go on the PK. So Minnie's going to be on the power play.
How about a shorty? I don't think I've seen a shorthanded goal yet in these playoffs. So let's go with a shorthanded goal here for Dallas, tie this game up because I really need them to win like badly. So let's do that. Is this one going 7?
Yeah, I think I texted you about this earlier today, and I do think it's going to go 7. I think Minnesota is a really good team. Like you're playing a juggernaut, or this series is a juggernaut. You're facing Central Division 2, Central Division 3. I mean, it's anybody's game. I think this was built for a 7-game series. They're an evenly matched team. I don't see how you could pick who's been favored this entire series. I don't really know how you can kind of cast an underdog. I think they've both played each other very evenly. With Jake Ottinger, standing tall when he tries, and obviously Jesper Wallstedt, trying to do his thing too. But it's an evenly matched from goaltenders all the way up. And I don't really say that when it comes to like Jake Ottinger. I think he's a great goaltender. I mean, hell, he's played for US for, 4 Nations and the Olympics, but he's facing a lot of the music in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think the line has pretty much just favored the home team. So whoever the home team is gets the best odds in the game. So yeah, it's been a pretty even matchup, which makes sense why it is 2-2. But we do need Dallas to at least win tonight because I got money on them. Third game tonight is Anaheim versus Edmonton, and a surprise, Anaheim is currently up 3-1. They have a chance to clinch tonight. Connor McDavid has been dealing with an injury, so he has been not 100. Shorty? Was it a shorty?
No, I lied to you. They went on the power play, but we did just score. So it's 1-1.
Okay, we'll take it. I was like, damn, did I call the shorty? That would have been great. You got all excited, but it was just a power play goal. That's okay. I'll drink to that.
Yes.
I'm good. All right, 1-1 in Dallas. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So McDavid is injured, and without McDavid at 100%, without Draisaitl at 100%, or Draisaitl I think is at 100%, but just that you need them. You almost need them at 110%. And they're just not. So Anaheim is up 3-1. I'll be honest, because these are West Coast games, I haven't watched a lick of this because I'm in bed by the time these games start. Have you caught either Anaheim or Edmonton or even Utah and Vegas? I haven't caught either of those either.
I've caught more Utah and Vegas, obviously. Go Knights, go! But as far as Edmonton and Anaheim, I've only watched 2 of those games, and I think it was the last 2 that I watched. Honestly, Anaheim looks pretty damn good, but I believe this game, I think this is going to go the distance. I as much as I really want to see Anaheim stick it to Edmonton, I just don't see Edmonton rolling over. Everything kind of weighs on, the greatest hockey player of my generation and Connor McDavid. He just has to put the team on his shoulders. This to me is going to be career suicide for him. And I know I'm going to piss off a lot of people when I say this. Wayne Gretzky is known for being the greatest hockey player of all time because he has the stats, but he also has the championships to back it up. If you're Connor McDavid, your entire legacy weighs in the balance on what the hell happens in this Anaheim series, because you just can't you can't be the greatest hockey player of all time and just piss away every opportunity. I know he's lost in the Stanley Cup or Western Conference Finals, Stanley Cup Finals. I know that he's done all that shit. But this is a huge measuring stick to where your career has been, and will go. If they just let Anaheim kind of walk away with this going 4-1, that says a lot about where Edmonton is going as far as the future of the franchise, but it also shows a lot about where Connor McDavid's head's at. He wants to be on a team. He's talented enough to be a part of a winning team. He just has never really done it. And so I feel like this, I know it's a long-winded answer, but I think this is going to go the distance. If it goes 7 games, you're in for one hell of a show.
If it doesn't and they lose tonight, Connor McDavid on his last contract purposely only signed for, I thought it was just 2 years, but maybe it was 3. No, so he's in year 8 of 8 right now, and he signed a 2-year extension. So for next year, the year following, when obviously he could have gotten 8 and gotten the big money, but he took 2 years because he says like, Edmonton, you got to see what you're going to do. Otherwise, I'm going somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Does losing to Anaheim 3-1 show him like, hey, if I'm not at 100%, this team can't do shit. So I just need to get out while I can. Like 100%. Who cares about these next 2 years? Just trade me now, and get me something. I mean, just the mismanagement of Broberg and Holloway that Edmonton team would be so much different if you have Broberg as your top line left winger and you got Holloway on either a top line with McDavid or the second line with Draisaitl, wherever you put him. This team's a lot different. So just the mismanagement of that is screwed probably the chance that McDavid's staying there longer than at least these 2 terms.
Well, it kind of shows too, Edmonton, you just can't put all your eggs in one basket. You got to spread the wealth. And not saying that Connor McDavid's an expensive asset, but he's earned every penny that he's making. You can't lead the NHL in points and statistics, goals, assists, you name it, every single year and come up short in winning a Stanley Cup. And I know there's plenty of great players who played the game and did all these things and won all the awards and had the statistics and never walked away with a Stanley Cup. But I feel like it's so achievable in our day and age to win the Stanley Cup because you're just centered around really good players, and Edmonton as a unit. I mean, you have so many great players. I mean, shit. Kasperi Kapanen is playing on a second line for Edmonton right now.
I love
and
that.
That's not going to that's not going to win you a Stanley Cup. So yeah, I think it shows Connor McDavid this team is nothing without you. I know he's not 100% tonight, and if he does in fact play and they don't dance, Edmonton has a lot to ask. If you're Edmonton, do you want to start pushing towards the future? Do you want to go back to a rebuild and try to figure out what you can do and maybe kind of offset some of the expenses you've already given? But if I'm Connor McDavid, I'm looking elsewhere. Maybe I go to a Florida, maybe I go to a Tampa. I don't know, but he's got a lot of thinking to do, because I know that he has put a lot of rounds downrange, and he's still looking his chops to get a Stanley Cup, and as he should. He's well deserved of it.
So Edmonton has former St. Louis Blue Jake Waldman, who is currently 30 years old. and getting paid $3,400,000. He has signed a 4-year extension with Edmonton. Guess how much they're going to pay him every year for 4 years?
A 4-year extension, and he's currently making what, 3.5?
3-4.
For 4 years?
Or just how much per year?
4.5?
7.
No way.
Like what the $7 million over 4 years, with the first 3 years having a no movement clause. Like Doug Armstrong wouldn't give Alex Pietrangelo a no movement clause after he won the Stanley Cup. And Edmonton is handing out cash and no movement clauses like they're candy.
Wow.
Like,
they really don't give a fuck.
Right. They are so desperate to do whatever they can. They're just like, we're going to pay Jake Waldman $7 million. So we show Connor McDavid that we're trying. And it's like, you show them that you're an idiot is what you are. Like, yeah, it's bad. Just looking at their cap management, whoever runs that front office is not intelligent. I mean, you also have Darnell Nurse, who I know the Edmonton fans hate because he's not a good hockey player and he's making $9 million a year then until 2030.
What?
Yeah. So your best contracts are Evan Bouchard's getting $10 million. And he had like 96 something points. So like that's a good contract. Obviously McDavid at 12.5 is a good contract. But even Draisaitl at 14. Like I'm kind of like Draisaitl should probably be around the 12.5 mark. Like that's another player you could get. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a interesting. There's no way Connor McDavid is on this team in 3 years.
No,
there's not a chance.
And I wouldn't. And if I'm in his scenario, I wouldn't want to be on the team either. He's clearly. I don't want to say it's a curse, the Connor curse, but like something's got to give. No, like there's no way that guy every single year has 100+ points, and his team just shits the bed over and over and over and over again. Like what?
Blues have a lot of young assets. Do you get crazy and say, listen, Edmonton, we will give you Jimmy Snuggerud, Jiricek, all 3 of our first round picks this year, and Dylan Holloway for Connor McDavid? It's just that's the equivalent of 6 first rounders, essentially.
I say no.
Yeah.
I'm very confident. I'm very confident in our ability that one player is not going to change anything. Fuck, we had Wayne Gretzky for fucking 19 games. And then fucking Mike Keenan drove his happy ass all the way out of St. Louis. Right. Imagine what we could have done there. Holy
that
shit.
Been crazy.
Think about that, Blues fans. Mike Keenan would shit the bed for us.
All right, let's get back to Stanley Cup action. We kind of breezed past Vegas and Utah. I know you're on the Vegas bandwagon here. Are you surprised at the fact that this series is 2-2?
No, because Utah's playing an absolute, like, I don't know what it was, them moving out of Arizona or Phoenix. Fuck, it's hard to keep track how many times they've moved. But hey, honestly,
Coyotes and then the Arizona Coyotes. And
yeah, now Utah. Hey, honestly, they played a really stellar 4 games so far. I think last night kind of got away from a little bit. Obviously the OT winner, but I mean, shoo-wee. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to go 7 games, just like the Dallas miniseries. They're very evenly matched. And that's what playoff hockey is all about. Like, you don't want to see like the Colorados smack the shit out of the LAs. You don't want to see the Carolinas smacking the crap out of Ottawa. You want to see competitive hockey. You want to see night in, night out. You don't know who's going to get the last goal. And that's what I think makes everything so cool in the NHL. Is like for 16 games, it's like this. You need to win 16 times to hoist Lord Stanley. And that's why I really enjoy watching Utah and Vegas and Dallas and Mindy, because those are the games that make Stanley Cup what it is. But yeah, Utah plays an absolute unit of a game, and Vegas at times they look really, really behind. But then you have guys like Ivan Barbashev who just pick up the team and carry them on their back for a 20-minute period, and they're back in it. So
my favorite series to watch so far, and maybe because it's an East Coast series, so it's on earlier in the night, but the Penguins and Flyers series. The Flyers have been absolutely nuts. They're hitting everything, and just their speed is really impressive. But the Penguins and the old guys are keeping up with it. Crosby did have to sit out a little bit. He took a puck to the knee last game, but he ended up coming back. So that series is 3-2 with the Flyers in the lead, the Young Gun Flyers. I think they said, watching the game yesterday, 10 Flyers have made their playoff debuts so far this playoffs, which is pretty crazy to be leading a then Sidney Crosby-led Penguins team in a best-of-7 series. Do you see Penguins tying it up and making it a Game 7, or is this going to end in 6?
I think it ends in 6. I think the Pens mounted one hell of a comeback, but I do feel like Philly, they're just an older team. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh is an older team. That Philly is just a young, youthful team that they're just going to end up basically doing what the Blues did to San Jose and just bullying the shit out of them. And half of Pittsburgh is going to be in the locker room before the end of the game. So very exciting series. We love the Battle of Philly, or Battle of Pennsylvania, I guess. But yeah, it's a cool series. I'm glad that it happened in round 1 for Sid the Kid for Sid the Kid. Jesus. Whoops. That used to be a PlayStation handle. Please don't cancel this podcast. Geez, hard one to come back from. No, but I think it's cool. Sorry. It's cool to see Sid the Kid do it at his age still. So I'm sorry, Jacob.
All right.
So
next
sorry.
game. That's got some funny. It's a funny Xbox handle or whatever it was. And then the last series we haven't covered is Tampa Bay Montreal. This one has, I think, been the closest series so far. Mm-hmm. The first 3 games go into overtime. Every single game so far is decided by 1 goal, with the only overtime game being Game 4 that the Lightning won 3-2. So you have Canadians winning Game 1 in overtime, Lightning take Game 2 in overtime, Canadians win Game 3 in overtime, and then Lightning win Game 4 by 1 yesterday, or Sunday. It is Tuesday, right? So, again, kind of the same sort of matchup as Dallas and Minnesota. You got the 2 and 3 in the, what would this be? The Atlantic Division, I guess. Tampa being the, I think, favorite to win this, but the young kids of Montreal, who I believe are either the youngest team in the NHL or the second youngest team in the NHL, are putting up a fight with the grizzled veterans of Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov and Vasilevsky. Thoughts on this series?
It's nothing against Tampa, but I'd love to see Montreal kind of win this series. Not in 7. I think that it's going 6 games would be nice. But yeah, it's been an evenly matched series so far. I don't see, not one team is overtaking the other. And 3 overtime games and the first 4 games is kind of outrageous. The more periods you put down range, the more tired you're going to get overall. But I'd love to see this go 6 games for Montreal and they finish it. I believe Montreal is the away team.
Yeah,
they're the ones that play the least. Yeah, so
they're the 3
finishing on home ice. Yeah, finishing on home ice. So, that's just my hope. Nothing against Tampa Bay, but would love to see Montreal finally get over that hump. I know that they have the most Stanley Cup victories, but they haven't won one in fucking.
Do you count
years?
All those original 6 ones or the ones like, after St. Louis got in? Like, yeah, when those teams were just dominant. So yeah, that's your NHL playoff roundup there. We kind of went through every series there. Damn, yeah, it's been fun. For a little bit, me and a couple of my friends were doing movie Mondays. So we would just go over, either they'd come to my house or I'd go to theirs or whatever. And we would just watch a movie. We're actually rewatching Star Wars, and then we had just started rewatching Lord of the Rings. And so now they're like, "Hey, you want to watch a movie today?" And I'm like, "No, NHL playoffs." like they're like, "Is that every night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fantastic. Like it's amazing."
Every night.
Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me tell you guys about places you guys can buy things. So we mentioned scooters earlier, and we love our coffee, and it's officially iced coffee season, which is my favorite. I don't like buying hot coffee, so iced coffee season is the way to go. So if you guys can check out the drive-throughs either in Highland, Illinois or Collinsville, Illinois. Those are our favorites. If you cannot check them out, then you guys can check out any Scooters Coffee in the greater St. Louis area. That is amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Scooters Coffee. We also have Q's Custom Designed. They're family owned and run small business out of Maryville, Illinois, and they specialize in hand or wood carved, hand painted signs. They have options that are typically available upon request, like blue notes or cardinals or battle hawks, whatever you want. But they can also do custom designs, like if you have a youth sports team of some sort, they can put that logo. Or if you want the Blues Fan Forum logo, actually, I need to reach out to them. I need to get one of them. So check out Hughes Custom Design. You guys can find them on Facebook. And then lastly, you can check out Imprint Labs. They are our people that is pretty much, if you have a design and you want it on something, they can do it for you. It is metal prints, it is hats, it is t-shirts, it is koozie cups, either they're cloth or the metal ones. They have almost access to put things on anything. So if you have a design or something that you want, or just a cool photo, reach out to Imprint Labs. You guys can find them on Facebook or Instagram. All right. Dakota, the only other St. Louis Blues news that Jeremy Rutherford likes to keep popping up across the Twitterverse is the idea of not necessarily who is going to be the captain of the St. Louis Blues, but if they will even do it. So what are your thoughts on? I think we know that you're on the Robert Thomas train for captain. He's been your captain before Braden Shen was even traded. But what's your thoughts on, do the Blues go into next season without a captain?
Little tidbit before I go on my little tangent. Just a little fun fact for you, since you like fun facts. Kasperi Kapanen leads the team in goals this playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers, and that to me is laughable. Just thought I'd point that out there. I was looking at that. I was like, this has got to be a joke. It's not a joke. The Edmonton Oilers are definitely in a phase that they are phasing out the greatest hockey player of our generation. Back to our topic of discussion. I think it's really cool. I read that article frontwards and backwards. If they don't go captain, I think it's even better for the young core. I hate the thought of too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. You'd rather build a strong core with, like, I would say, I don't want to say this, minimal leadership,
but like way around. Too many Indians, not enough Chiefs.
Well,
or too many Chiefs.
If you have the same core group of guys that came up together and you name one guy a captain, somebody's going to try to outpiss the other. At least that's how it might work. Okay. But if you don't, then yes, you're going to have too many Indians, not enough Chiefs, which I think is a lot better. You'd rather be one core unit. Not everybody has like the locker room's open to discussion. You know, everybody has a chance to use their voice and, you know, say what they need to say. I still do think that we're going to name a captain. I think in today's age, it matters to a lot of teams to have one focal voice, be more present than others. But, you know, the way they kind of listed things off today, or I guess it was yesterday or today that the article came out, Jim Montgomery kind of listed a couple names, Philip Broberg being one of them, Robert Thomas being another, Jake Neighbors being another. Jordan Pennington got an honorable mention just because NHL goaltenders can't wear the C. I like where his head's at with some of those. I think Colt Parayko was up there too. It's all the names that we've all thrown around, and all of those choices would be easily, you know, defendable. I think Robert Thomas, the most tenured Blue right now we have, other than Colton Parayko, Makes sense. He's worn the A for the last 4 seasons. You know, a lot can be said about a lot of those guys and why they deserve it, but I think the Blues will make a decision this year, and if they don't, I would be very surprised. We've had a captain for every year except for the 96-97 year, which we didn't have a captain. But, you know, stranger things have happened. We shall see. But I do think that it would be in the best interest of our young core to at least have someone that they look to as a leader, but also have someone that can easily be, you know, not an example necessarily, but hey, take these guys under your wing and show them the Blues way. And I think Robert Thomas is that guy. He's been a part of the core. He won a Stanley Cup. He's been under the last 3 captains, Braden Shen, Brian O'Reilly, and Alex Pietrangelo. And I think he learned a lot from each one of those individuals. So it would be really cool to kind of see what he does as captain for the St. Louis Blues, even if it is for a couple seasons.
I feel like this this captaincy talk is very similar to when we got rid of Ryan O'Reilly and we talked about then who would be the next captain after Ryan O'Reilly. And your options were Braden Shen, because he's kind of been here the longest and he's done it and he's kind of plays the style that a lot of St. Louis Blues fans want in a captain. But then the other one was like, or do you go to Robert Thomas, but you're worried about him being a little young? And that seems to be kind of the discussion now of, if you're looking at a forward, you have Robert Thomas, who again now is kind of the veteran on the team of he's done it all, like you said. But then if you're going again just forwards, Jake Neighbors is the other one, just because he kind of plays that rugged style. But then you also think, is he too young? Is it not his turn yet? Mm-hmm. I think Philip Broberg should be higher up the list. I like a captain that's going to play 24, 23 minutes a game and be out there for a long time and be as solid as he is. Oh, damn it. Boston just scored. They had a lot of pressure there, so it was kind of about to come. All right, 1-1. But yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty easy pick to name Robert Thomas the captain, and I think because you have that easy choice, I think that's why you name a captain.
So my question then to you is, and I'll have this as a follow-up. If he gets the C, then somebody else gets the A. Who are your A's? You get 2 alternates.
The other 3. So Parayko and because you can have up to 4 alternates, right? You can have 2 for your home game and 2 for your away games. So I don't know who would be what, but I would go Parayko, Broberg, Neighbors, and maybe
Holloway?
Just do those 3. Yeah, Holloway would probably be.
Or do you put Jimmy Snuggerud up there as an A?
I wouldn't do that yet. He's only played 1 full season. Oh shit! Fuck. Oh, Boston almost scored, or Buffalo almost scored. Yeah, I don't think I would go. I don't know. I think I would maybe even just stick with those 3. I mean, I would not be upset if they gave Holloway an A. That wouldn't bother me, as long as he signs an 8-year contract.
And do you think with the way that the Blues do things and they try to do things by the book, do you think that they're going to name one earlier or later in this offseason? I really do think if you're trying to build a really decent unit going into next year, having the success that we did in the last 30 games of the year, naming a captain earlier in the offseason might be the best choice you make, because you kind of have that time in the offseason to kind of rally the troops. All right, this is the guy that we're going to look to for our leadership. He's going to start having the voice. He texts those guys. He gets together with those guys in the offseason, develops that like relationship that maybe I'm looking too much into the internal dialogue of the locker room, but like the more you focus on creating the team outside of the locker room, the better they're going to be on the ice. And maybe it's a wishful thinking, but that's a thought.
I don't know what like NHL players off-season programs look like, but I would say whenever that begins, that's when you want that captain. So like you said, he can get all of that things worked out. I don't know if teams that don't make the NHL, or are they just enjoying some free time and enjoying vacations and kind of just working out on their own? But whenever it's time to say, all right, season's coming, we're buckling up, whether, because that's definitely not, a 2 weeks before training camp. Like they do that, I would imagine, a couple months before. So whenever that happens, I would say you need a captain for that time period. But I don't know when that is. So Sam's going with Jake Neighbors as the captain. Devo gets an A, Parayko gets an A, Holloway gets an A, and Walker gets an A, which means we're talking about Robert Thomas being a captain, and Sam doesn't even want to give Robert Thomas an A, unless maybe she forgot about him. I don't think people would be upset with Walker getting an A because we love Walker, but as far as just how sports work, you typically don't give an A to one of the players that's not the greatest on the team. So Mike did bring up that some of the players are going to go play at the World Championships and the Spengler Cup, which I think, Mike, does that happen every year or is that only every couple years? But I know whatever it happens, it's always overshadowed by the NHL playoffs. So you don't really see or hear much about it, at least in the States, we don't. So yeah, we got a 1-1 game in Buffalo. Or are they still 1-1 in Dallas?
Okay. Yeah, it's at first intermission, so we should see. What's your pick? What's your pick? Let's go down the line. Minnesota Wild versus Dallas Stars. Who's your pick to win the series?
Preferably neither, honestly. I'm gonna go Dallas because I think Dallas has a better chance of beating Colorado.
Okay. You're on the Sabres bandwagon, so I'm not gonna ask that question.
That one's
Sabres going in that one.
Yeah.
Ducks, Edmonton. Who's your pick here?
Ducks.
Really? You don't want the comeback of a lifetime, huh? You don't think Connor McJesus is going to come back and just woo
I wanted
fans?
the Ducks to win at the beginning of the playoffs. I didn't fill out a bracket, but I would have went Ducks early on, kind of thinking that would have been a loss. But I would have bet the Ducks.
Sure. Utah and Vegas. I think I know where you're going. Same
thing. I would have gone Utah. And again, probably expecting it to lose, but I would have
get the hometown guy.
If I had my pick of who's in the finals for the fun factor, it's Buffalo and Utah. It's extremely unlikely, but the finals of Buffalo Utah I think would have the most kind of fun factor to it.
Yeah, Utah's playing really good, and I'm so excited for their fan base. I don't like the owner that much because I think he's kind of a big clown, but other than that, like, you moved the team to Utah, and they showed up. Mm-hmm. They brought the house down, was it last game? So good for them. Canadians, Lightning.
Oh, Canada. I don't really have a dog in this fight, so I don't really care either way. I'll probably go Montreal just because I like younger teams, and I'm tired of Tampa winning.
Yeah, good for Zach Bolduc. I'd like to see him advance and kind of push this team to the promised land. And then last but certainly not least, we got Pittsburgh and Philly.
I think Philly has been the most fun team to watch. Even in games that they lose, they are still a lot of fun to watch. Trevor Zegers tried a between-the-legs goal yesterday, and he missed, but I'm just like, shit, if that would have went in. So I want Philly. I think it realistically doesn't matter because neither Pittsburgh nor Philly can beat Carolina.
It's still awkward to me seeing Trevor Zegers play for Philly. Like it's like for me, like I know the color scheme in Anaheim really didn't change that much, but like they're kind of like orange now. Yeah. I was like, damn it, why are you not wearing a Ducks uni?
Yeah, but then he somehow got his best friend Jamie Drysdale also traded to Philly. Or no, Drysdale was already there, and then he went there. So they were like really good friends in Anaheim before Drysdale went there, and I don't remember who it was. For your picks, Sam's going Dallas, Ducks, Vegas, Canadians, Philly. So me and her are pretty
Sure.
pretty much the same, except I went Utah and she went Vegas. It's about the same.
Let's go. It's been very exciting playoffs so far. I'm really excited to see what happens in the second round. And if it is the way you call it, and Dallas is going to be the team that advances over many, then you got the two top teams in the Central Division facing each other. That's going to be. Do you think that goes 7 games if it goes to, like, the way you call it?
I think it's gotta be 6 or
Has to.
7. There's no way it's a sweep, and I can't even see it being any way that it's just 5 games. Like those teams against each other are capable of winning 2 in a row, so I could see like a 6-game series where they go back and forth, and then one team ends up just winning 2 in a row. But to win 3 in a row against Colorado or win 3 in a row against Dallas, that just doesn't seem like it could happen. So
now I know there's a jersey hanging up behind me now. Here, everybody hang the fuck on, because this is going to be one hell of a take. If Minnesota beats Dallas, Minnesota then beats Colorado, because I do think Minnesota's team plays and is better on paper. I know they have McCarr. I know they have McKinnon. I think Jesper Wallstedt is going to be the better goaltender between the Wedgwoods and the Wood, basically the Wood tandem.
yeah.
So just everybody hold their breath. It might not happen, but I do think Minnesota has played a better game. Watching Quinn Hughes just dance around and watching Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy kind of, make a mess of Dallas shows me that if they do advance past Dallas, that they're going to give Colorado the fits.
That would be interesting. I as long as Colorado loses, because
Yes.
1, fuck Stan Kroenke, but 2, we have their draft pick. So like we kind of double need this. We're double selfish about it.
I agree. Yeah, fuck Stan Kroenke.
Right.
Good take.
All right. That got us to about an hour. We're about the same way. It looks like Boston's on a power play, so maybe this is where our shorthanded goal comes in from Buffalo here. So go Buffalo, go Dallas. That's just what we need, because I want to win some money, and that would help a lot. They just got too much wood in Colorado, Kelsey. That's the problem. It's all their backstops are wood. So, all right. Check out Scooter's Coffee for us. Check out Imprint Labs. Check out Hughes Custom Design. If you haven't already, give us a like and follow on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share this with your friends, especially if you're in the Buffalo area, because we're trying to be on the Buffalo bandwagon. And I know nobody was coming on today because they're all watching the game, but we tried to get people on yesterday and it did not work out. So if you're in the Buffalo area, come hang out with us. If not, maybe we got to find a new bandwagon. But the Buffalo bandwagon's so good. Like, they're so fun. Like, they're just a good time. And then also check out this week the Thunderbirds. Their playoffs, or their next round of the playoffs, begins on Friday. So they play Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, I think, something like that. And then after Thursday, maybe Saturday again if they need it. So go Blues, go Buffalo, go Dallas, go Thunderbirds. Dakota, anything else?
No, go Vegas.
Go Vegas. Go all of those teams.
Yes.
And then we will talk to you guys next week. See you, everybody.